The achievement of one goal should be the starting point of another. Man is an animal which, alone among the animals, refuses to be satisfied by the fulfillment of animal desires. I have traveled around the globe. I have seen the Canadian and American Rockies, the Andes, the Alps and the Highlands of Scotland, but for simple beauty, Cape Breton outrivals them all. One day there will be a telephone in every major city in the USA. I have heard articulate speech produced by sunlight. I have heard a ray of the sun laugh and cough and sing. I have been able to hear a shadow, and I have even perceived by ear the passage of a cloud across the sun's disk. The telephone will be used to inform people that a telegram has been sent. Grand telegraphic discovery today, transmitted vocal sounds for the first time, with some further modification. I hope we may be enabled to distinguish the timbre of the sound. Should this be so, conversation viva voce by telegraph will be a fait accompli. Educate the masses, elevate their standard of intelligence, and you will certainly have a successful nation. There are two critical points in every aerial flight: its beginning and its end. In this experiment, made on the 9th of October, 1876, actual conversation, backwards and forwards, upon the same line, and by the same instruments reciprocally used, was successfully carried on for the first time upon a real line of miles in length. From my earliest childhood, my attention was specially directed to the subject of acoustics, and specially to the subject of speech. And I was urged by my father to study everything relating to these subjects, as they would have an important bearing upon what was to be my professional work. Dumbness comes from the fact that a child is born deaf and that it consequently never learns how to articulate, for it is by the medium of hearing that such instruction is acquired. Don't keep forever on the public road, going only where others have gone and following one after the other like a flock of sheep. Leave the beaten track occasionally and dive into the woods. We are all too much inclined, I think, to walk through life with our eyes shut. There are things all round us and right at our very feet that we have never seen, because we have never really looked. There cannot be mental atrophy in any person who continues to observe, to remember what he observes, and to seek answers for his unceasing hows and whys about things. The great advantage the telephone possesses over every other form of electrical apparatus consists in the fact that it requires no skill to operate the instrument. Ordinary people who know nothing of phonetics or elocution have difficulties in understanding slow speech composed of perfect sounds, while they have no difficulty in comprehending an imperfect gabble if only the accent and rhythm are natural. Watson, if I can get a mechanism which will make a current of electricity vary in its intensity, as the air varies in density when the sound is passing through it, I can telegraph any sound, even the sound of speech. Wherever you may find the inventor, you may give him wealth or you may take from him all that he has, and he will go on inventing. He can no more help inventing than he can help thinking or breathing. I have had the feeling that a properly constructed flying machine should be capable of being flown as a kite, and conversely, that a properly constructed kite should be capable of use as a flying machine when driven by its own propellers. Before anything else, preparation is the key to success. The achievement of one goal should be the starting point of another. Concentrate all your thoughts upon the work at hand. The sun's rays do not burn until brought to a focus. Sometimes we stare so long at a door that is closing that we see too late the one that is open. You cannot force ideas. Successful ideas are the result of slow growth. Ideas do not reach perfection in a day, no matter how much study is put upon them. The day will come when the man at the telephone will be able to see the distant person to whom he is speaking. God has strewn our paths with wonders and we certainly should not go through life with our eyes shut. Leave the beaten track behind occasionally and dive into the woods. Every time you do you will be certain to find something you have never seen before. A man, as a general rule, owes very little to what he is born with. A man is what he makes of himself. America is a country of inventors, and the greatest of inventors are the newspaper men. The most successful men in the end are those whose success is the result of steady accretion. The only difference between success and failure is the ability to take action. Neither the Army nor the Navy is of any protection, or very little protection, against aerial raids. First words on the first telephone: "Mr. Watson, come here, I want to see you." My knowledge of electrical subjects was not acquired in a methodical manner but was picked up from such books as I could get hold of and from such experiments as I could make with my own hands. Morse conquered his electrical difficulties although he was only a painter, and I don't intend to give in either till all is completed. I would impress upon your minds the fact that if you want to do a man justice, you should believe what a man says himself rather than what people say he says. Such a chimerical idea as telegraphing vocal sounds would indeed, to most minds, seem scarcely feasible enough to spend time in working over. I believe, however, that it is feasible and that I have got the key to the solution of the problem. What this power is I cannot say, all I know is that it exists and it becomes available only when a man is in that state of mind in which he knows exactly what he wants and is fully determined not to quit until he finds it. Great discoveries and improvements invariably involve the cooperation of many minds. I may be given credit for having blazed the trail, but when I look at the subsequent developments I feel the credit is due to others rather than to myself. Be not the first by whom the new are tried, nor yet the last to lay the old aside. Man is the result of slow growth, that is why he occupies the position he does in animal life. What does a pup amount to that has gained its growth in a few days or weeks? Beside a man who only attains it in as many years. Washington is no place in which to carry out inventions. The final result of our researches has widened the class of substances sensitive to light vibrations, until we can propound the fact of such sensitiveness being a general property of all matter.